All right, big welcome to everybody out there. Welcome to the show. And it looks like we are good to go. All right. Boy, do I have a show for you today. You know, this is episode 9 of Movies About Love. And I gotta say, this one took a while to put together. A total of 72 slides about. Don't worry, we'll go through them pretty fast. It reminds me of The Secret of My Success movie review that I'd done, but why do I go through such great lengths to outline these movies? Because they touched my heart. They mean something. Not some cheesy superhero movie where they just fly around and killing generic aliens with the portal in the sky. Those don't mean anything to me. I really do miss the old kung fu movies way before I was even born. 1960s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. You know, and then they try to continue them with this high definition, 2K, then 4K, 1080p. It just didn't capture the magic of that grainy, authentic, excellent acting, magic, lightning captured in a bottle from the old days. They tried to do it with the Expendables, but that didn't work. Just because you make the film a little grainy, the story is horrible. The story's horrible. There's too many characters, yada yada. It just doesn't work. You have to have a great director, a great story, something even original if possible. So here we have a story of Huo Yuanjia, a Chinese martial arts master known for his legendary fighting reputation. This is based on a true story. Came out about when I was going to join the army, I believe, in 2000. Correct? And it's a fantastic movie, and I put the title Selfless Honor here because that's what I extracted from this movie. Something worth fighting for. And it's a shame that online people don't fight for each other. They're all in it for themselves. They're pretenders. You will meet a handful of gems, authentic people out there who do support you. I go to people's channels, leave comments, and I support them. And I say, hey, I'm here for you, whenever I can. But I don't ask the same in return because it's something that's just expected. Otherwise, what's the point? So for those of you who do actually support my channel, this is our channel. And I really thank you for that. Especially my new subscribers. A lot of them are silent but welcome. And a lot of them watch from the TV so they can't leave a comment. I understand that. I've been informed of that offline. So thank you so much for attending. And let's just go ahead and get right down to it. Like I said, based on a true story of Huo Yuanjia. Episode 9 of Movies About Love. This episode stars Jet Li, a real martial artist who's kind of a little too old right now, but he's still kicking. He's still kicking and ticking. This movie is called Fearless, a tale of dedication, honor, and unfortunate sacrifice. So yes, spoilers ahead. Goes without saying. Alright, let's just go ahead and blitz through it so I don't bore you. Last thing I want to do is bore you guys, so we're going to blitz through this. Alright, we begin the story with a very young protagonist named Huo Yuanjia, who grows up admiring the martial arts, mainly his father's own unique, dominant, powerful fighting style, the Huo Fist. And where does this take place? Well, Shanghai is where we begin. Not as nice as this image here, this modern day image. Shanghai is not as nice as this modern day image, but I believe the 1900s, early 1900s is when it takes place, in a village of poverty where the rich and poor are mixed together. But for the purposes of just showing you a beautiful location, Shanghai, China. The deadly combative form of wushu is used in this movie, not the version which is only based in forms competition. But all martial arts are about avoiding fighting with others, by the way. So, yeah, this is the deadly form of wushu. There's also the deadly form of taekwondo and karate, not the Olympic version that unfortunately has plagued the martial art. There's nothing wrong with Olympic versions and of martial arts. It's just that it gives the wrong impression that, oh, we're just point fighters. No. The techniques you learn in any martial art can be very deadly. It all depends on the practitioner. And that's actually what this movie goes over. They have lots of discussion about it. So, all right, let's go ahead and proceed here. Don't let this image scare you. It's just a young Huo, Jet Li, the protagonist. Huo would secretly watch his father practice a deadly version of wushu. With the help of some friends, they lifted him up over a wall so he can watch. He's a really great observer, as you'll later find out. Apparently. Alright. Here is Huo's father practicing wushu. He just struck that huge block with one strike. The death strike. Which would later crumble once he left. So it looks like he didn't do anything when he struck the cloth on top of the stone, but as he leaves, then it crumbles. It's as if he already knew it was going to break, so he doesn't have time for that. Not his first rodeo, right? Here his father is teaching others his own style of wushu. Dedicated students here. Here is Huo's best friend Jinsun, who was mainly into schoolwork, who would later play a very important part further down the road. And he actually does Huo's homework for him. So Huo, Yuanjia, he's not really smart. So, I think a lot of kids have this scenario where instead of going to a tutor and actually doing it right, they ask other people to do their homework for them. You remember Back to the Future, same thing, right? Where Biff is the bully to Marty McFly's father. So, yeah, it's just one of those scenarios. Alright, so in this same scene, here's Huo practicing whatever he can learn from observing his father practice wushu. His father strictly prohibits Huo from learning wushu to keep him out of trouble. So who knows why? Maybe he's a disobedient kid, and so that's why he doesn't want to show his own son martial arts. Alright. They really are best friends. I have to say that there's no fighting between these two, at least not yet. But even throughout the whole movie, you'll find out when you watch it for yourself if you haven't already. Because Jinsun always follows Yuan, and Yuan always respects Jinsun for his intelligence and bright ideas. It's a really cool relationship. Really, these kids did a fantastic acting performance. I mean, I must say. Some kids are cheesy in movies, but these guys really nailed it. So here, Huo shows his best friend Jinsun the wall where fighters and fights are announced. I think these are the death waivers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they explain it, but just like the, kind of like Hard Rock Cafe's wall of whatever, like to honor all the celebrities and stuff. Something like that. So Huo secretly attends the fighting tournament where his father would fight, but without his permission, obviously. So he's secretly there. He doesn't care. Here, Huo meets his future competition, Cao Jian. So he's on the left here. And he represents his father's wushu. So they're both doing the same thing, representing their father's wushu. Saying, my father's better than your father. Just like Rush Hour, my daddy's better than your daddy. My daddy once caught a bullet in between his teeth, with his bare teeth. And then, Chris Tucker's like, my dad would kick your daddy's ass all the way from here to China. So here we have more daddy talk, trash talk. The death waivers must be signed in order to compete, just like Mortal Kombat, right? But with no signing. It's just implied. So if you die, there will be no liability. Sounds like a good business, huh? I would not do that. That's not what the martial arts is about, by the way. Fighting to the death. That's just evil. I don't care how good you are. His father shows mercy here during the fight by not delivering the finishing blow. And so he unfortunately loses this fight, his father, because he didn't deliver the finishing blow. I mean, he didn't want to kill his opponent. I don't know if that was a mistake on his father's behalf. I mean, you could kill your opponent, but he chose not to. Anyway, so he ends up losing the fight because he suddenly realizes his son Huo is watching. That's the main reason why he threw the fight. I mean, right here he could have just, just knocked him out. But he chose not to. So who knows if it was a mistake that he was about to deliver the death blow. Maybe, no, you know what? Maybe that was his realization that, what have I become? I think that's what it is. Because later on we'll see in the movie why that means a lot, that scene. I don't think it was a mistake. I think he stopped because he found out that if he were to deliver that death blow, that he'd become a murderer, and that's not a path he was willing to take. Yeah, that's exactly what that means right there. So he was going to lose the fight if, even if he did kill the opponent. I think he would have lost because he would have lost his dignity. So his honor there. I think that's probably why. Anyways, here's Yuan immediately challenging Cao to a fight which Yuan is completely unprepared for, wanting to be like his father far too prematurely. Yuan, after losing, he gets beat up like bruised black eyes. After losing, asks his friend Jinsun to copy one of his father's library books. It's about fighting so he can practice and one day have a rematch with Cao. Of course, his friend's gonna do it, right? So yeah, both of them just misbehaving all over the place. So, Yuan's father gives him an educational form of punishment for his disobedience. So copy Confucius's the Analects 10 times and give it to me before dinner. Oh my goodness. One time in AIT, Advanced Individual Training, in my Army experience, the drill instructor ordered me, because I didn't have my hair cut too short, as short as they wanted it. It was just like maybe a few millimeters off or half an inch off. So they made me write the Soldier's Creed. I don't know how many. I stayed up all night and all morning. It was torturous. So I kind of feel this part here. It really is a huge punishment to force somebody to write something over and over again. You start hallucinating. It's pointless. It's torture. It's meaningless. I'm not even gonna. It really is a form of abuse, in my humble opinion. 10 times. I don't know how long Confucius's Analects are, but they had me rewrite the regulations. Anyway, Yuan's father. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, we already covered that. Even after getting beat up by his first fight, and in the middle of his punishment, Yuan vows to take revenge to honor his dad's Huo Wushu fighting style. See, he wants Cao to fear our Huo Wushu. Yuan doesn't waste any more time and immediately practices all the new techniques found in the copied book from his father's library, including the strike of death. Look at him, already practicing. Already wanting to break that stone. Look at that commitment. That's why we shouldn't treat kids like kids. We should treat them like grown adults. Kids, they can impress you. Let them impress you. Don't treat them like little kids. Treat them with respect. Yuan quickly challenges his next opponent and has a flawless victory. I mean, look how skilled he is now. He's got the stance, he's got the form, and just flawless. He didn't even suffer getting one hit, not once. Alright, now the movie skips straight to Yuan as a fully grown adult. A powerful adult. He's a powerful grown adult now. You can imagine how much practice he must have had, so many years later. Just imagine. This is one of the most important parts of the movie. Yuan says there is no time for marriage because he needs to become champion of Tianjin, his village. Imagine that. No time for marriage. Everything's about fighting. He's obsessed with it. Yuan speaks to his father, who passed away. Yuan hasn't lost any fights and now vows to become the champion his father chose not to be. So here he says his fist wasn't fast enough, that he didn't have the guts to end the fight with the death strike. So he thinks he can actually do it. Yuan finally challenges Cao after so many years. Remember, Cao was the one who beat Yuan in his very first fight, the day his father lost the tournament. So he's teasing him here. He's on the top of the tower, Cao. And Yuan here is like, where have you been hiding all these years? Just taunting the heck out of him. But it's playful. Nothing in this movie is crazy. Well, some parts are a little bit serious, but nothing crazy. Here's Cao's response. It appears Cao has a ton of fighting experience. I mean, look at that. I fought in 38 cities and 17 provinces. Jeez. He must be a really great fighter. So, but Yuan defeats Cao almost effortlessly. I mean, he kind of sort of almost loses by falling over the tower here, but you'd have to watch the scene. Very awesome. Yeah, this is well choreographed, this whole movie. As a martial artist with 30 years experience, it is very well filmed. It holds its ground. It still stands its ground to this day, since 2007. I mean, very nicely directed, filmed, performed, everything. That's why I'm doing this. He finally won the support of the crowd, so he can promote his father's Huo Wushu fighting style, now being the one to represent it. So, Shay, thank you. Suddenly, our fighting champion Yuan begins to receive lots of students who want to practice and learn Huo Wushu. Please take us as your disciples. So he accepts practically anyone without question, which would later be Yuan's downfall. Look at that. Oh, you look tough enough. Here, have a drink. That's foolish. It reminds me of online people. Like, you can't just accept anybody as friends online. You don't know if they're going to turn into your next backstabber. Now, offline, yeah, you could be a lot more liberal by allowing people into your life. But you still got to be cautious. You never know. But don't live in paranoia. Like, oh, can I trust you? Just go by your own intuition. Yuan wins his next fight right here very easily. Alright, and Yuan grows impatient and simply challenges the rest of his opponents all at once and defeats every single one of them with ease. So it's a classic Bruce Lee / Jet Li did this in the movie Kiss of the Dragon as well towards the end. Fight everybody at once. It's not that realistic at all, but it makes for good cinema. Just take everybody all at once, right? Now a ton of new students want to learn from Yuan. So there you go. He's becoming super popular. But no vetting whatsoever. Just, oh, okay, you want to join? Here you go. This proves to be problematic, as now Yuan has lots of unpaid bills for all the free drinks that he buys his new students. He quickly goes in great financial debt. But his buddy, Jinsun, his best friend, seems to be paying all the bills for him. So I guess he's not charging his students enough, or he's not charging them at all. Because I imagine if he charges students, then, he would have less practitioners, and maybe he just couldn't spread his style better, I would say. Yuan's best friend Jinsun begs Yuan to stop fighting since he is finally a champion, but Yuan wants more, to be a champion nationwide and even worldwide. So he really gets obsessed with fighting. That's a real shame. It really is, because, when you're a champion, just throw in the towel while you're still on top. That's my advice to anybody out there. Don't, you should quit while you're winning, never when you're losing, because that's the only thing people are gonna remember you by is your downfall, never your accomplishments. Like trolls, right? That's all they focus on is negative things, and they want drama instead of positive intellectual people that want to actually do something good to the world. So here's Master Chin. He's a powerful master and his next opponent because they kind of trash talk to each other, which really bothers Yuan. He really gets him with that psychological operation stuff. So after his brief confrontation with Master Chin, Yuan takes out his anxiety to fight him on his students, who appear weak in Yuan's eyes. He just starts glancing at his barely known students and how weak they are. So he trains them harder than ever before. Very important part here, Yuan is lied to by his students appearing with a beat up student saying that Master Chin is responsible, which was later proven not to be true. Very big mistake here in this movie. Because Yuan quickly challenges Master Chin to a fight and ends up killing Master Chin with the Huo Wushu style strike of death. So he loses it. He straight up kills him during the fight. It was a great fight. I mean, it wasn't easy, but he ends up killing him because out of sheer rage, he just has to be the best. And he's tired of this guy trash talking. When in reality, you'll find out later. Well, I already told you that it wasn't going to be true, what the allegation was, but here he is. It's a sad scene because this is the first and only life that Yuan would ever take. This is precisely why his father didn't want him to learn wushu, to stay far away from violence. And, this is true. Lots of people use martial arts for no good reasons. They end up becoming bullies themselves. UFC fighters, no honor. It's just to say you're the best. You become lost. For instance, I recently saw Conor McGregor just on drugs or something. He was shaking during an interview involuntarily, and I'm like, geez. He has like this Lamborghini yacht that's so expensive, and it doesn't matter. Your honor is everything in life. You can't just fight just to fight. You're going to become lost and weak and miss the whole point of life, which is love, true love, with a partner. But hey, screw around and find out. Not taking anything in life seriously with passion and devotion. So, yeah, very sad scene here. Pretty much just obliterates Master Chin. Nothing is without consequence. Now, of course, Master Chin's students take revenge by murdering Yuan's family, including the innocent child. I don't know whose daughter that was, but yep, they took her life too, and so this really freaks out Yuan. If you want to live like a real gangster, get ready. It's not pretending. It's at this point that Yuan begins to question his path in life and realizes why his father chose to lose that past tournament. See, now it makes sense, right? And by not when he was going to deliver the death strike, his father, that's why he stopped. Look at the consequences for killing somebody, either in the ring or out of the ring. Doesn't matter. It's a fight and it has consequences. These people will come and kill your entire family. So he realizes now the hard way. And, sometimes people have to learn the hard way. C'est la vie. It's just the way life is. You shouldn't learn the hard way. That's why I wrote my book and created my own online video course movie for you guys. So you don't have to go through a bunch of meaningless relationships and waste your precious life trying to find the one. I found my one. So I'm here to try to help you. But if you don't need the help, that's fine. Just hope you get help somewhere else, because I see people all the time struggling. They still haven't found the one. And then a lot of them believe that the one doesn't exist. Yeah, they give up on themselves. Congratulations. Now you'll be a miserable loser for the rest of your life. Sad and grumpy, angry at the world. Or stuck with somebody that you don't even love. And maybe you become an abuser. It's horrible. All kinds of a variety of horrible consequences for not listening to people who are already successful. And they're trying to guide you. We're not begging you. We're just saying, consider it. We're here to help. It's like a tutor in school. Hey, let me help you pass that exam. No, I could do it myself. And then there you are. You did poorly on the exam when you could have just spent some extra time with somebody who's really good at the topic, and you could pass the class, no sweat. And now you can teach others with that knowledge. You can be the tutor. No, not interested, right? They'd rather go home and watch cartoons, right? So Yuan chooses to exile himself in this scene. He exiles himself from his home, and now that he has no family left, even his best friend Jinsun abandoned him for what Yuan has become. Yeah, very emotional scene here, because this is where he meets a blind woman here that saved Yuan trying to commit suicide by drowning himself. So this blind woman saves him and begins to nurture him back to health. This is the most important part of the movie, because Yuan finally gets to begin a peaceful relationship with someone for the first time. Think about it. He says no time for marriage, because he's all obsessed with fighting. Well, now you're forced to have some kind of relationship with the opposite sex. It's a beautiful moment in this movie because you can see how dramatically Yuan changes mentally and emotionally. Unfortunately, Yuan is forced to fight for the tribe of people that he just magically found himself, coincidentally, I suppose. Consequently, choose your word. The people who are taking care of him, there you go. Some thugs made a deal to leave the villagers alone if Yuan wins a fight, because Yuan says, hey, I'll fight for them. If I win this fight, you leave everybody alone. So, really, really nice moment here. Now Yuan knows what it's like to fight for an actual purpose, other than a meaningless championship. Now he fights to defend the honor of his people. And it's a great parallel with life itself. Have something to fight for. It should be your family, your loved one. And that's why it's so beautiful about having a soulmate, because she really is, or he really is in female's case, your soulmate is your other half. They really are. And now you have a purpose in life, to defend and to honor and to serve your soulmate. Otherwise, you're just going to be a lost person forever, living in denial, living in misery, living in negativity, completely worthless to anybody else because you have nothing to teach. Nobody can learn from a loser. Don't be a loser, guys. Never quit on yourself. Your other half is out there. You must find your other half. Sorry to break it down to you. It's not a struggle. It's a journey. You have to respect that journey. So, let's go ahead and move on here. She already knew it was finally time for Yuan to leave and continues his path where he left off, because eventually, he has to leave. But it's kind of cool because she actually senses it. After years, okay? After years of not knowing his name or where he even came from, she touches his face, gives him a fresh set of clothes, and bids him farewell on a safe journey. Yuan returns back home. A homeless man easily recognizes him, even after several years of being gone. So somebody recognizes him. Everybody else pretty much doesn't. It's been too many years. A loyal assistant and his best friend Jinsun both kept the house well maintained and financed. So that's pretty nice. He has somewhere to come back to. Yuan has all the papers on the wall about fights and fighters burned, and pays his respect to his father and mother's grave, apologizing for his disobedience. Very important scene here, because he's having that life-changing moment. He even pays respect to Master Qin, who he wrongfully killed due to his student's deception. And so eventually Yuan accepts the challenge of Westerners now, mocking the Chinese that nobody can defeat their best fighters from the rest of the world. So this is in 1909. Shanghai Race Club, yeah. So that's the new challenge. He was already the champion of Tianjin. Yuan denies the signing of death waivers in this case and thus challenges the way the Chinese fight because, the death waivers was a tradition. So now he's like, no, we're going to stop that. Now it's about honor and civility. And who best to declare that than Yuan Jian himself? Very, very nice here. All right, this is a really exciting scene here. Nice fight with Hercules O'Brien is the character's name. This dude here is Yuan's first foreign opponent. Kind of an easy fight. Muscles can't really defeat a great experienced martial artist. But they can if the martial artist is, skilled but weak. And yeah, almost anybody can beat that. After defeating O'Brien, his best friend Jinsun agrees that he should continue fighting for the honor of China and its people. So now he won his best friend back over. Because now it's a question of honor for all of China. And here he has a formal chat with one of his future opponents, a Japanese karateka and sword master, Ano Tanaka. And they have a very wise discussion here over some tea. Competitions can lead us to a path of self-discovery. Because Yuan is explaining to Tanaka that it's the practitioner, not the martial art. Anybody can win. And that's what I believe. And a lot of other martial artists believe the same thing. That's why we even have weight classes. Yeah, but that doesn't guarantee even then who's going to win. It's a case of David and Goliath. It's still possible. It all depends on the practitioner. But if you have the muscles and martial arts skill, you increase those chances of winning. It doesn't guarantee, but most likely, yes, you should win. If you have the accuracy, stamina, focus, concentration, all that stuff, control over your mind and emotions and body. Martial arts is about a lot of things. A lot of things that have to deal with life and love, and it's an art. It really is an art, like most things in life that needs to be perfected by the best of the best, not just anybody, unfortunately. Yuan prepares for his final fights. A fight for his life, because they're going to include weapons, by the way. He's already had a weapon fight with Master Qin, but, this is many, many years later. It's a beautiful scene because this is an important part of life. Answering your own calling, doing what you truly love to do. He's just performing a form here. Maybe some shadow boxing, but a very formal way. Because Jet Li, he's a forms champion. That's how he was introduced into the Western world. From China to the Western world. Forms champion. It just reminded me, you got to answer your calling in life. And this is why I entitled it Selfless Honor. Because you got to choose, what are you here for? Are you here to act like a clown and participate in circus of clowns and absolutely have nothing productive or constructive to offer to the rest of the world, whether it's online or offline? Is that what you're really here for? Because if that's what you're here for, you're a loser that nobody needs. Nobody wants. Trust me. You can live in denial all you want. Like the trolls and angry people and negative people, they have no purpose in life, no calling. So stay away from those losers. You should hang out with positive, productive people, happy people. I shouldn't have to explain who they are. He defeats his first opponent on the first final fight of foreigners here. A strong dude here. Forget which country he's from, but he also defeats his second opponent here with the spears. They have a very long spear fight here. I guess that's what this guy specializes in. And his third opponent. Now, these fights all involved weapons, by the way. Awesome fights to watch. Beautifully filmed. I believe this guy's a fencer. So, Yuan chooses the Chinese sword, Tai Chi sword. Wins that fight. His final fight with Tanaka is now underway. This is it. This is the final fight. Everything is going great with Yuan winning the fight against Tanaka. I mean, It was going fantastic. No, nobody's really badly beaten, but point-wise, yes, he's winning. All right, so getting down to the end here. Wow, pretty quickly. Nice. But of course, the foreigners pay people to switch out Yuan's break time tea with a lethal poison to make sure that he dies fighting. How dishonorable is that? So people can make money and say they defeated China. So yeah, switch to teas. Nobody's even monitoring it. Oh man, they should have just brought a towel and water, but they probably would poison the water. Who knows? Alright, so in the middle of the fight with Tanaka, Yuan was obviously winning. He breaks down, coughing up blood. So the poison's just tearing up his entire esophagus, as you can imagine. Stomach probably too. Internal bleeding. Deadly, deadly poison. Even coughing up blood didn't stop Yuan from winning by stopping his death strike, just like his father. In memory of his father, see, now he realizes what it means to show mercy. Because Tanaka didn't wrong him at all, so he now realizes, just like his father in the tournament, his opponent never wronged him, so why are you going to kill him? But even while Yuan is dying, he shows mercy and says, you know what? I guess if I'm going to die, I'll die, but there's no reason to take you with me. And I just proved that I won the fight right here. And so, beyond a reasonable doubt, I could have killed you, but I didn't. This is like the most one of the most important scenes. So Tanaka, his final opponent, quickly realizes what just happened and decides Yuan Jia is champion of the world. Tanaka also stops fighting for his corrupt managers right after this. He's like, really, you guys? No. He doesn't want any part of that crime that just took place, that murder. So Tanaka, he just considered it an honor to fight Yuan Jia. And just close the book. Who knows what happens to Tanaka later on if he continues fighting. So here in the very end of the movie, after Yuan dies in the ring, they show you this beautiful dream where Yuan is reunited with the blind woman that we saw earlier. Not too much more information is known about her. That saved his life and took care of him. And you'll see her right here. But notice very closely, she's looking at something. A very creative ending, because here we can see the woman is no longer blind and that now they're eternally in love. It's an interesting cliffhanger at the ending because they don't give any further explanation. They're like, hey, Yuan died in the ring. Does this mean that she committed suicide? I don't think she would be murdered since he saved the village. I don't know. I mean, this is quite a cliffhanger because it leaves you with those questions. But they're never answered. So good luck. It reminds me of Quentin Tarantino. He does that stuff on purpose, like in Pulp Fiction, you know, with the whole suitcase thing. They never show you what's in the suitcase. And he did that on purpose. He says, the story's going to mean something different for everybody. And that's the way I want it. I want you to come up with the whatever's in the suitcase. You think it's money, it's money. If you think it's gold, because he gave the gold flashing. You think it's jewelry, it's jewelry. So this is a similar ending. It's just like, hey, pretty creative, pretty artistic. Now it's interesting how this is my first video about this movie. And now I realize Yuan Jia died at the exact same age that I'll be later this year. 42. I still feel like 25, by the way. I mean, truly freaky stuff right there. If don't you think? I mean, come on, man. I just did this today. I'm gonna be 42 this year, and Huo Yuanjia dies from poisoning at the age of 42. That's just kind of weird. I don't know what to make out of that, but do with it what you wish. So many movies about love and honor end with the hero dying as either a profound sacrifice or simply an unfortunate outcome after giving it their all, fighting for what they cherish. I mean, yeah. I mean, Jet Li dies in the movie Hero. Similar similar death in the end, a very honorable death. Pretty kind of little hilarious because the storm of arrows actually make it like a a silhouette of where he was standing. It's very cartoonish, but it's very sad at the same time. I'm not gonna do a movie review on Hero. Just go watch the ending of the movie Hero with Jet Li. You'll see why I'm laughing so much. It's just crazy. Okay, let me take a look at the chat, see if there's any sign of intelligent life out there. And if there's not, good grief, because what a stream. I always dread these movie episodes. I'm so glad we're almost done with them with episode 10 next. Because they take so long, painstakingly, with all the images, the notes I have. If you guys were to do this yourself, you're going to feel the heat. So... anyways, let's get right into it, to the chat. Let's see what we have. Hey, Maria Olivares, welcome back. All right. Much love, much love. And C4, welcome. Welcome to the chat, C4. Yeah, a lot of fights. Yeah. Yep. Never be selfish. Absolutely. And then, being selfish in this life never comes out good. It doesn't matter if you get what you want. Greed and selfishness. No honor. You'll quickly realize what it means to live a dishonorable life and change your path. Hopefully. But unfortunately, I'd say the majority of people don't change their path because they do the easiest thing, which is to be destructive. To destroy is easier than producing and maintaining and protecting. Anybody can destroy something. It doesn't take a genius or much strength. Yeah, it's a really good movie, C4. Recommend it to everybody out there who hasn't seen it. And yeah, all right. So thanks for participating in the chat, Maria Olivares and C4. Really appreciate that. And yeah, stay tuned for the final episode. Can you believe it? Of the Movies About Love series with 10 full episodes, painstakingly put together. So the next one is quite a surprise. And until then, another show for you guys tomorrow. So much love to everybody. Thanks for watching.